it. His best ever in that category has this line in front of him. Ken, Kennedy, Dukes, Hinton, and Whitfield perhaps playing as well as any offensive line in the league. Eric Pegram, the starter at running back, has more than 800 yards. Rise and Hill, Pritchard, and Haynes in their so-called red gun 4-wide receiver offense. Pegram, 928 yards rushing on the season. And the numbers on Bobby Hebert impressive. This is Pegram trying off tackle left. Got a couple. Stopped by the linebacker, Kurt Gouveia, number 54. Defensively, the Redskins have a couple of guys returning from injuries. They have been struck by injuries in key places all year. Collins and Bobby Wilson. Shane Collins and Bobby Wilson returning to the defensive line. Out today is Carl Banks with a groin injury. Monty Coleman, who figured to play more against the red gun anyway, will start there. Green, Edwards, Copeland, and the return of rookie Tom Carter to the left corner position following a shoulder injury. On second down, along 7. It is almost picked off on a deflection. Risen couldn't hold on to the pass a little behind him. And Darrell Green had a shot at the deflection.
Well, you know, then anybody has seen him play, including Richie Pettibone, who's been his position coach for a long time.
Redskins send in Al Noga to pass rush, and Alvoid Mays and A.J. Johnson into the secondary on 3rd and 8. Hebert to Pritchard, and he's hit immediately. Mike Pritchard, nowhere to go. Carter and Coleman on the tackle. No gain.
That's that matchup defense that the Redskins have run against Atlanta successfully the whole time they've employed the Redskins.
An average of 43.9 on the season. Brian Mitchell is back to receive at the 35 of Washington. Good punt. Backs Mitchell up to the 32. He dropped the fair catch, recovered by Atlanta at the 31-yard line. An early miscue by the Redskins. Broussard getting his first carry of the game. They got him in against San Francisco.
To start thinking, uh-oh, here they go again.
Mitch Lyons has come in for the Atlanta Falcons, setting up on the wing right. Number 86. Broussard remains the running back. Play action with a flag in the air to the end zone. Touchdown! In trouble catching that fair catch. Made no contact, and so there was no infraction. And Atlanta took advantage with the 29-yard strike. Hebert to Mike Pritchard. Johnson's kickoff, high and short. Fielded by Mitchell at the 15. And he is driven back. So Washington's first offensive possession. Ripping the quarterback. And offensively for Washington, Eloanibi, Brown, Bostic, McKenzie, Simmons, all of them nicked in one way or another, as they have been most of the season. Ricky Irvin starting for Reggie Brooks, who spent all week in Tulsa with his ill father and is back for the game in uniform.
Who is a big, big man.
Playing with a very sore ankle. He's joined out there now by Chuck Smith at the left defensive end. Second down and 9 to go. Irvin's again stuffed right on the defensively. Lester Archambault and Mel Agee, who have come in to fill in for the injured Rick Bryan and Mike Gannon, done a fine job with Gardner and Holt. Connor has reclaimed his spot on the right linebacking corner with the injury to Ron George today. And two rookies in the secondary, Roger Harper and Darnell Walker, joining Case and Sanders. 3rd down and 8. Washington at their own 18. Ernest Biner in the backfield. Rippin too high for Desmond Howard at the hip.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's got to be the biggest punter of all time. He weighs 265 pounds and gets every ounce of it into the kickoff. This one he's swift.
That's not his best. He gets a good bounce, and it's Atlanta, after the 42-yard punt by Roby, a good field position at their own 40. Hebert out for Pegram out of the backfield. All right, it is 2nd and 2 as we work on our audio situation here. Mike Ruther has come in as an extra blocker on the short yardage, and dive indicates. And that was his approach to his team coming into this game. A huge hole for Broussard. Another Atlanta first. Johnny Johnson of the Jets last week. First down, Atlanta driving again. Result for Michigan, the #1 pick way back in '78. And this entire Atlanta offensive line has played awfully well the last 10 weeks. Hebert is sacked. Sterling Palmer, the rookie from Florida State.
Boy, that's a mistake. And they kept Drew Hill in there to try to...
Important, number 65, backup lineman in to replace him, at least for this play. 2nd and 22 for Atlanta. Screen for Pritchard. And Pritchard, the former college running back, runs well down. And he's got the only touchdown so far, 29 yards from Bobby Hebert. 3rd down and 10. Pegram, and Pegram takes a good hit from Tim Johnson right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 50-yard attempt unofficially. And they've whistled the play dead prior to the kick. There were flags. Alexander, the rookie punter, at 22, the youngest punter in the league, standing at his own 47. And hits from the 49 of Washington. And it got away from Charles Washington into the end zone. It'll be a touchdown so far this first quarter. Monk, Sanders, and Desmond Howard, the wide receivers. Play action fake to Irvins, and the pass complete to Sanders. Ricky Sanders, first down, Washington, to the 46-yard line of the Redskins.
Audible at the line of scrimmage. He understands the offense, understands the scheme, knows how to attack the defense. Now they go with the no huddle in an effort to keep the defensive players, same scheme, up there and start taking advantage of it.
Ricky Sanders in motion. And Irvins hit in the back.
Lester Archambault has been a huge part of that.
Acquired in a trade from Green Bay, essentially as a backup, but with injuries to Rick Bryan and Tim Green. He's the starter and playing well. Rippon going deep for Sanders, overthrows everybody, and he had double coverage.
Talking about Deion Sanders, but the two down people, Lester Archambault being one of them, has really been a big part of that.
3rd down, 11. Ernest Biner, a little shovel close to the air, particularly in the kickoff department. And Roby elevates that one. Fair catch signal by Smith inside his 10. He's not happy with himself. And Lions, with Mike Ruther as an extra blocker. Number 55, the backup center. Broussard runs hard.
He said the only thing that stops Broussard from keeping on going outside is the sideline.
Hebert, 4 or 5 in the passing department, stays with Broussard, and Broussard gets out.
They're running their games inside.
Bob Whitfield, as you can see, number 70, has returned. He missed only one play following his mild knee injury. Broussard again. And Broussard stacked up by Charles Mann on top, and down below, Tim Johnson with help from Andre Collins. Not much himself, because he has been the steadying force defensively for Washington. Play action, and Hebert eludes the rush. Now goes out to Mitch Lyons, and it's incomplete as he fielded.
Is back there in the pocket. Everybody understands that he can get the job done.
3rd and 9. Sanders now in at wide receiver. Hebert hangs in there and finds Haynes, but it's off the mark, incomplete. Yeah, Hebert thought he was going to wind up hitting a striped shirt instead of Sanders. Alexander's punt, short. And then rolled. 1:29 left in the first quarter. Mark Rippon has returned to be the quarterback this afternoon for Washington.
defense. Jumpy gives this defensive line something they've not had in a long time, and that's size and strength in the middle.
Only a yard given to the Redskins on the first play of the series. Rippon out of the backfield to Irvins, and Irvins is bounced from behind and knocked forward. Early part of the game, they have a 3rd and 2 with time winding down first quarter. Miner in the backfield now. Rippon with a little roll. Now going deep for Ricky Sanders. Just overthrows. Atlanta deep in their own end. Low snap fielded by Roby. Fair catch signal by Tony Smith. And that one down by the Redskins at about the 17. Today, Ricky Irvin's getting the start. Brooks is available, but of course our best wishes go out to Reggie and his family, and hope for recovery of his father soon. Steve Broussard takes it out the right side for his
Dominated.
Atlanta with a 2nd and 8. The 20-yard line. Hebert slipped a minute and then recovers and gets the pass complete to Michael Haynes, the tight end. And because of his number, he has to report in, and the referee has to announce it. Broussard jumps through 1,000 yards rushing, but Broussard's been the guy in this first quarter. Broussard trying to get wide, and he does. Picks up about
outside.
Sterling Palmer comes in to replace Shane Collins at right defensive end, Washington. 1st and 20. Big play. 2nd and 12. 4 wide receivers. Pritchard and the flanker screen, not much. Well played by the Redskins.
Yeah, well played by Tim Johnson. And that's what a good defensive lineman.
I've learned things I couldn't have learned in a successful year, things about life. Deion Sanders is in the offense again on 3rd and 11 Atlanta. Hebert is going to get sacked by Coleman. 36-year-old Monty Coleman.
Well, that's one of those zone blitzes. They bring 51 Monty Coleman off the top. You can see him come right around the corner. Too many people, nobody picks him up. Now, behind that blitz generally is usually man coverage when you blitz somebody, but the Redskins, they went with the zone and brought the corner, the outside backer.
High snap into the end zone. Redskins don't realize it. Alexander's going to lie down in there for a safety. He had time to get up and punt it.
That's a rookie mistake. Didn't have the presence of mind to go get the ball as it's laying in the end zone and still kick it. They give up the safety, and we'll be back 7-2 Atlanta.
In 2 points. And the punt following the safety by Atlanta. Brian Mitchell returning. And a good return to the 36-yard line by Brian Mitchell. First down at their 36 for Washington. 10-10 remaining first half. They trail 7-2. Ricky Irvins over the 40-yard line, picks up 5.
You cannot put a price tag on a guy who's there every week.
2nd and 5, Redskins. Good protection for Rippon. Rippon out the left side for Desmond Howard, and he has it. First down, Washington. Scott Case on the coverage.
Well, a lot has been said about Desmond Howard, how he's been a bust, how he hasn't been able to run away from people. You know, and Desmond Howard says, look, just throw me the ball. Give me a chance to make a catch. Then see if I'm a bust, see if I can't run away from people. Now, a lot of the things you talk about Howard is he doesn't have the great speed that they thought he would have coming out of college. But what he does have is a burst. And what a burst will give you is separation at the end of the play, and that's what separates good receivers.
They have a first down at the Atlanta 36. Little roll to the right. Art Monk hit immediately. Very little gain. And now for an NFL update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, at County Stadium in Milwaukee.
He's trying to stay alive. Green Bay considered the favorite now in that Central Division to win it. Of course, the Lions have other ideas. 2nd and 8. Washington inside the 35-yard line of Atlanta. Trailing 7-2. The blitz is on. Rippon just got it away. And it is incomplete. Flag is thrown. There'll be interference called on Clark. It was intended for... So the Redskins inside the 10-yard line. Trailing by 5. Quick flare. Desmond Howard hit hard at the 5. Second and goal, right at the 5-yard line. Washington threatening. Little flare out for Ricky Irvins. Irvins rolling to the end zone is stopped short.
He's going to try to throw him the football.
Darrell Moore is number 62. Wycheck coming in as a blocker. Mitchell, the setback. They give it to him. He's tripped up and stopped short. Scott kick for it. Crowd into it. 2 tight ends to block. Mitchell stopped.
Nice shot.
Atlanta.
We have a 5-yard face mask penalty against the defensive team.
Which was the ruling here. It is a 1st and goal. Rippon still with the ball. He'll run it in. Touchdown. Another flag down.
They're going to call Ron Middleton.
Number 32. The penalty is refused. Touchdown.
Yeah, they're going to say Ron Middleton. But I thought they were going to call for going out there and blocking before because he's supposed to be a pass receiver. But what he does is he makes the good transition outside and gets the block, which allows Rippon. Watch the fake over the top. That draws everybody inside. Now watch right here. On Eaton, I thought it was going to go either way, but it's a good job of Middleton coming back and making the block.
Yeah, they actually called it on Eaton for grabbing Middleton. So the touchdown counts. Skip Lohmiller for the point after. And the Redskins have taken the lead. 5:48 remaining first half. Washington 9, Atlanta 7.
Transition and makes his block. Watch the block right there. Very good job of turning your rear end to the hole. And now the transition game of Middleton with the block, and it's 6 points. Well done.
So the Redskins get a spark from Mark Rippon. 64 yards and 7 plays for the score. Jason Phillips returning the kickoff and not very far to the 15-yard line. Hit there by Lamont Hollenquist, the rookie linebacker. We'll return to RFK Stadium with the Redskins on. I think he's going to be a fine linebacker in the years ahead here in Washington. First down, Atlanta at their own 15-yard line. Trailing now 9-7. Hebert hit just as he released it. It's incomplete. And it was Charles Mann.
And those two have met quite often.
A lot of pride invested here by these veteran Redskin players in every game in this losing season. Richie Pettibone says that's what's at stake for us in this game and the remaining ones. Hebert for Haynes.
Playing well on the road, but looks like they're playing well today on the road.
They're playing well everywhere in these last 8 weeks. Screen for Pegram. Washington looking for that, and they play it well. Monty Coleman
is off to the guy. Great condition and a great player for a long time.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line of Atlanta out of the shotgun. Pressure again on Hebert. Gets it off to Pritchard. Pritchard eludes 1 tackle, but 2 more Redskins arrive to hold them to a game. Atlanta took the timeout as Washington was juggling their defense just prior to the play. Avea showing blitz. He doesn't come, but they bring Coleman, and Coleman, the loose ball, still loose, now picked up by the Redskins. It's still loose. Finally, a whistle comes. Let's see who's got it. Coleman made the play on Hebert. And it is Atlanta ball. And Charles Mann, I'm not sure if either of them will be on the Hams team. So they wound up giving the ball back to Atlanta, and they will punt. Alexander, oh, he booms one. Harold Alexander backs Mitchell up to the 15. Returning to the 23-yard line, he can lead. And that 2-point differential, the safety on the high snap by the Falcons over the head of punter Alexander. Ripping it from that shuffle, same play. This one goes for about 5.
In his game against the Jets, I don't think I've seen a tackle play that bad. And they've been on him all week long, and so far he's played pretty good.
Number 3 pick in 1990 out of BYU. Third down, long 5. Oh, what a hit on Monk by Scott Case. Took his helmet right off. Ball comes down at the 37-yard line, goes out at 1:53 left to make something happen here. Trailing by 2 in this all-important game. They must win all 3 of their remaining games for a chance at the playoffs. Should they do that, they have a very good chance of getting in. Lots of time for Hebert. He's got Michael Haynes too high.
Haynes the ball to the wide receivers, which speaks well to that Washington defense taking them away.
And they've been applying some pressure as well with the blitzing. That's complete out to Haynes. Haynes trying to... It'll be third down and about a half yard. Hebert, that's complete to Pritchard. First down Atlanta out of...
Instead of 5'10".
Yeah, he likes the look of that end zone. Hurt his shoulder late in the 49er game last week and came up the winning touchdown. And there's Rison's first catch. Picks up 7. He'll have 1 timeout remaining. And Hebert miscue there with half time. A preview of that doubleheader game. Third and a yard, 43 seconds left. Broussard, and Broussard has the first with an Atlanta first down. That's a poke on the field.
Yeah, that's a poor job by the Falcon offensive line getting back and ready to play.
Second and 10. And it's picked off by Johnson. A.J. Johnson.
It's a foot race. He's going to win it. That's touchdown, A.J. Johnson. A.J. Johnson knew that they had to try to get out of bounds with Pritchard. Watch him break underneath. Read perfectly. Nice break on the ball. 66 yards later, 69 yards later, it's a touchdown. And it looks like he pulled up there. May have hurt his hamstring.
A.J. Johnson, the nickelback, seeing that one, reading it perfectly. And the Redskins have widened their lead here with 9 seconds left in the half. Lohmiller. Redskin lead. First interception of the game. A costly one for Atlanta.
Yeah, well, watch him right here. He's matched up off Pritchard, and he's going to read Pritchard breaking to the outside to keep the safety over the top. Now, he makes the read. Nice break on the ball. He breaks before Pritchard can make any kind of a difference. and then it's right down the sideline, 69 yards. Now watch at the end. You're going to see him start to pull up right there. Looked like he may have got a little tweak in his hamstring.
Johnson's first interception of the year. Said some, and I guess Lawrence Taylor would get some votes. Great Giants linebacker. Ruther fields that rather well and then does a little quarterback slide in over the 35-yard line. Coming off a separated shoulder, is back to close to 100%, and they feel that he can get this Hail Mary pass downfield a little more readily than the injured Bobby Hebert. Jump ball, incomplete. Zeros are up, and the Washington Redskins, a 3-10 team trying to spoil the Atlanta Falcons' playoff hopes, have taken a 16-7 halftime lead. Washington leading 16-7, and the Redskins will start this second half with the football. Norm Johnson ready to kick it off. Mitchell and Desmond Howard are the deep men, waiting for it at the Washington 6. It'll be Howard from the 10. Make it Mitchell. Brian Mitchell gets out to the 22-yard line.
Duncan out of sync, build on what they've had in the first half, and that means Mark Rippon hitting underneath stuff and deep comeback.
Well, and those numbers would indicate the Falcons have not been able to get much pressure on Rippon so far in this football game. Ricky Irvins blasts out for about because of a serious illness to his father, and so because he didn't practice all week long, they are going with Irvins, although Brooks is in uniform, has not been in the game as yet. 2nd and 5. Rippon for Howard, makes a good catch, then drops and recovers, but they costing him in the nickelback position. Ernest Biner, the lone setback now on 3rd and 5. And Biner breaks out, short of the first down, but very close. And of Atlanta. He just got that away. Good kick. Smith eludes the first one. Ran into his own man, or he might have got another 5 and pickoff. A costly one at the end of the half by A.J. Johnson. First down at the 32-yard line of the Falcons. 16-7 Washington lead. Hebert with time and off the mark there.
He's never had this much talent, and he readily admits that.
He's got a 2nd and 10 with 3 wides out to the right. Rise into the left. And they go to Pegram. Pegram and play his whistle. Atlanta on the 27-yard line. And that's just a bad pass from Hebert, intended for Michael Hank. And there's that turnover factor, as you can see. And they've been in the plus category, a 5-1 mark. Avoid Moise into the Redskins secondary. That's complete to Risen. Risen head for Risen. First down, Atlanta. They've got Ruther in as a blocker with Lyons. They're going to run it with Broussard. What a piece of running by Steve.
Make sure he goes down.
First down, Falcons at the 37 of Washington. Broussard inside again. 67 yards on 12 carries. Broussard again, takes it outside. He's got running room. And a good job on this receiver he was covering to make the stop. But they're at the 8-yard line. First and goal, Atlanta. Broussard again. Takes it off, tackle.
Bounce it outside. He's had a couple of big runs where the hole's open quick, but he's going to like to get outside.
2nd and goal from the 2 for Atlanta. Broussard again. Broussard. So it's a 2-point game. Washington on top 16-14. Johnson will kick it off. Mitchell and Howard the deep men. It'll be Desmond Howard from the 9-yard line. And Howard to the 22.
Got Tampa Bay coming here, so I'm scared, he said.
Anything can happen. Mark Rippon, 8 of 13 for 75 yards. And his return to the starting role will give us to Irvin.
16 points, and the reason was because of the turnovers and the mistakes that we saw, which gave them good field position.
We got a 2nd and 7 here. Rippon gets time. Hits Art Monk. Monk dropped by Vinnie Clark immediately, short of the first down. It'll leave 3rd and 2. Getting a chance to start here today, the last couple of weeks actually, ahead of Tim McGee. 3rd and a yard. Irvins. Stacked.
They're not even new hogs right now.
Roby fields a low snap. Does a good job getting it off, but it's a short punt. Smith, 2:30 Eastern here on CDS. Atlanta, good field position from their own 36-yard line. 33-yard punt after a low snap by Roby. Broussard takes it outside. 55-yard line of Washington. Redskins by 2. 6:55 to go in the 3rd. Broussard goes to the right.
It's 2 wides and 1 back. They're just going to pound the football.
2nd down and 6. Broussard again.
Central.
That guy is a clutch football player. 3rd down, less than a yard here at the 35-yard line. Broussard up the middle has the first.
Hamilton is in to replace him.
Rick Hamilton, the rookie from Central Florida, replacing the veteran Gouveia. 1st down Atlanta. Broussard again, and Broussard.
Hello, both told us that they felt that the Atlanta offensive line was one of the best in the league.
Broussard now 138 yards on 20 carries, and he has it again. Hit by his own. Jones of the Atlanta Falcons, directing that offensive game plan of Atlanta, just keeps pounding it away. Broussard again. And they finally give him a rest. He's breathing heavily. Pegram is back in. Here's a 900-yard rusher this year. And Pegram is stuffed. Brad Edwards came up
with the safeties again. Expect a little play action inside and go to the wide receiver.
They lost a yard on the play. Closer to 3rd and 2. Broussard came right back in after Pegram was stopped. And Broussard has a good hole. Hits his own man again.
You don't have a good team.
They got a 1st down at the 12-yard line of Washington. And Broussard hit in the backfield this time by Tim Johnson. Gun. 2nd down from the 15-yard line. A lot of time for Bear. There's the fade, and it's intercepted in the end zone by Carter. Second interception of the day against Bear. And the drive is snuffed. So the score remains with 6 seconds left in the 3rd. A 2-point Washington lead. Because the receiver had the deep back beaten. It was Carter ranging back to the way you described. It created that pick, and he made a good play. Monk close to a 1st down, and we've reached the end of the 3rd plays and wound up when Mark Rippon takes over. He's 9 of 14, just 81 yards passing. They have a 2nd and 1 at their own 30-yard line. Matt Major at Illinois.
He understands those weight numbers.
That's right, yeah. 3rd down and 4. Rippon stumbled and just gets it off, and it's incomplete.
The play, and give him a 4th down.
So Roby standing at the 12-yard line. Atlanta showed rush, and they didn't come with it. He gets a good kickoff. Backing Smith up to the 20-yard line. And Smith dropped the ball at the 25. Redskins have it.
Rick Hamilton with a big hit. Todd Bowles comes up with the ball. Reggie Roby hits a monster 53-yard punt. Tony Smith will work back up inside. Now watch Hamilton with the hit. And Bowles on the hit, and then Bowles comes down with the ball. Listen, an arm of Hamilton and the helmet of Bowles jarred the ball loose.
First time for Washington with a first down at the 25-yard line. Frank Wycheck in the I formation ahead of him. Brooks. Pulled down from behind by Mo Gardner. And another Atlanta Falcon turnover. 31 coming into this game. 2 interceptions today. Rippon gets it off, and it's incomplete. Ernest Biner in. Washington yet to make a third down in 8 tries, turning it into a first. Looks like Rippon changed that one up. Gets some time. Deep for Monk, too far. Deion Sanders intercepts it.
Has an easy interception.
So Atlanta first down at their 20-yard line, trailing by 2 points. We're in the 4th. Broussard, they go right back. The fumble by Tony Smith. And so with a 2nd and 4, the Falcons at their own 25 and a lot of time remaining. 12:42. Pegram, not much for him. Palmer makes the 10, a long 3. Huge play defensively for Washington. Hebert escapes the rush down the sideline for Rison, incomplete. And play this ball game. What a bit of a break there. They could have had a 4th down if that play had just been an incomplete. Hebert again under pressure. It's going to be picked off by Coleman. To the 25-yard line of Atlanta.
Bobby Hebert had a huge play. If he could have gotten the ball there, he got hit by Tim Johnson from behind, and that smacked the ball. Watch Tim Johnson, 78, work inside. Here comes a blitz. Pegram gets picked up. Johnson has the presence. That was Sterling Palmer who came back and whacked him. But he had, watch Palmer, hits him. The ball's in the air. Monty Coleman, always around the football, comes up with an interception. He got a sack, an interception, a lot of big plays. Monty Coleman is playing like he's been in the league just for 3 years instead of 15.
On first down, Reggie, a little more than 10 now. Brooks the lone setback. Trying to get wide, can't do it. Got back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's all. Long count by Rippon. Somebody in his face. The ball, Low Miller from the 33-yard line. It'll be a 42-yard officially. 42-yard attempt. No good. 4 times, 3 interceptions and a fumble, and that is now 35 turnovers on the season by the Redskins, leading the conference, second only to Houston in the league. Pegram on first down and
With 2. All the points have come that way, but so you have no turnovers, you win 84% of the time. 3+, only 21% of the time. The amazing thing is the Falcons still are in this game and have a chance to win with the 5 turnovers.
And that 5th turnover, of course, the high snap that resulted in the safety against the punter, Alexander. Pegram runs into traffic, takes it back, and gets got 154 yards. If Atlanta can pull off their playoff miracle, they've got a pair of dangerous running backs, Pegram and Broussard, and that's Broussard. Had an outstanding year, so Broussard's been just a backup. 2nd and 2. Mitch Lyons makes the strong side left. They go to Pegram. Pegram in the middle. Battles and gets Atlanta with a first down at midfield. Trailing by 2. 7:19 to go. A lot of time for Hebert. Goes to the sideline. Coming back for it is Pritchard. And he down from the 33-yard line. The blitz. Pegram trying to fight his way loose at the line of scrimmage. Went nowhere. Coleman in on it.
Ability to run.
2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line. Pressure on Abearn, he'll eat that one. It is Al Noga with a sack. 4th of the day for the Redskins.
And I might say that's a very unexpected play from...
You have to understand much of that scheme. He had a clear lane.
Yeah, don't block me, I'll get there.
3rd down and 15. Collins blitzing and got by Pritchard. Away from Coleman, and Pritchard got short of the 1st down, so Johnson will attempt from the 32-yard line. 42-yard attempt for Norm Johnson. Missed only once all year. And in this game against the team they should beat, 5 turnovers, but they are now in front. Johnson's kickoff comes up at the 15-yard line. Desmond Howard trying to get wide, and he does. Only Johnson to beat, who pushes him out at the 45-yard line.
Well, this is getting fun. Heck, you got kickers making tackles and everybody getting blocks, and Desmond Howard making a big return at the end. Watch him pick up the blocks. There's 1 block. There's 2 by Coleman. There's 3. Todd Bowles. There's 4. And at the end, make the kicker.
33-yard return for Desmond Howard. Redskins with 2 wideouts to the right. Brooks the lone setback. Brooks shakes off 1 tackle, turns it into a 5-yard gain. 6. In Atlanta territory. Rippin deep sideline complete to Desmond Howard. 1st down to the 30-yard line. Vinnie Clark pushed him out.
Understands that, sees that, and is taking advantage of it.
3rd catch of the day for Desmond Howard. And a 1st down at the 31-yard line of Atlanta. Loose ball. Rippin's arm. 2nd and 10 from the 31. Moncton Howard out to the left. Sanders on the wing right. Quick release. Sanders. Ricky Sanders. 1st down to the 15-yard line of Atlanta.
Nicely done by Ron Middleton and Rick.
1st appearance in the game. Ernie Logan in defensively for an extra big guy for Atlanta. Rippin pumps right, goes left to McGee's got nowhere to go. Good effort, turns it into about a 5-yard gain. Like a 7-yard line, 2nd down, a long 3. 3:12 remaining to play. Redskins by another running back. Wycheck the blocker in front of him in the eye. Biner tripped up, but good effort. Biner, touchdown.
That was all Ernest Biner. That was pure effort, strength, power, everything that Ernest Biner embodies.
Pierce Holt had him here, Matt. Couldn't hold him.
Now Pierce misses him, trips him up, but then look at the power on Harper. And Deion Sanders with a lackluster effort in the end zone allows Biner to get in for 6.
Lohmiller for the point after. Line drive that just made it over the crossbar.
That was ugly.
That was an adventure.
That was an ugly kick, but a beautiful run by Ernest Biner. I mean, you could just see the pride in the man. He would not go down. He refused to, got the hand down, and just powered it over. Ernest Biner, this is an example of Washington Redskin power football. They come with a trap back inside. Now watch, he gets tripped, puts the hand down, gains his balance, gets back up, takes the shoulder to Harper. Now watch, Deion has a chance to stop him. Not a good effort.
So the 31-year-old veteran, Ernest Biner, puts The Redskins back on top, 23-17. Atlanta with 3:06 remaining. First touchdown of the year for Biner, who has been used.
Well, that time they ran Wycheck opposite of where the trap went.
Sanders, Deion Sanders, breaks one tackle, gets out to the 28-yard line. It looked to me like they got to the 28-yard line, didn't mark anything off. First down, Atlanta. A playoff game in 1991. Early move
For Broussard, now they have to throw the football, and Washington defends them very well.
2nd and 9. Hebert for Drew Hill, again we're playing for today. Pressure again, and Hebert sacked. The ball is loose. It'll be Atlanta ball.
Sack number 5 for the Washington Redskins. Nice call by Larry Peccatello. He goes man up all over, and then they bring the blitz up inside. Here comes Govea. There's the pressure by Noga on the outside. Again, Whitfield doesn't get to him. Noga gets the sack.
Thought it came loose and he recovered, but he held it.
Yeah, well, the last 3 games.
Atlanta's gone for it on 4th 14 times this season and made it 8. That's a pretty good number. They need 5 yards to keep it alive. Blitz. Loose ball. Coleman with it. Touchdown, Washington.
An interception and a touchdown. He's 36 years old and he's playing like he's 26 years old. Monty Coleman's my hero. I gotta tell you, the guy's my hero.
Well, that's a brilliant display of what Richie Pettibone just kept talking about. We're playing for pride. There's a guy who doesn't know any other way to play. Jim Hannafin greets him at the sideline. Even the offensive coaches applaud the defensive players. Lohmiller for the point after. 2:11 to go, and the Washington Redskins appear to have dashed the playoff hopes of the Atlanta Falcons. They needed to win all 3 remaining games. They've had an incredible turnaround from an 0-5 start, but they have never won at RFK.
Well, you're going to see Coleman come off the top. Nobody gets there. Pegram has to come. And then Sterling Palmer, with the pressure, separates the ball. And then Monty Coleman with a nice cut inside. And then it's all the speed of Coleman. You're not going to catch him. He runs as well as any linebacker in this league.
29-yard return for Coleman. Sterling Palmer, the rookie from Florida State, has been doing such an outstanding job getting a chance to play with the injury to Shane Collins. And they've got themselves a fine prospect in that young man. Bobby Hebert, who has had a brilliant season, has just had nothing but problems today against the Washington Redskins. .2:11 to go. 6 turnovers by the Falcons. Washington taking advantage of them. Deion Sanders will bring it from well deep in the end zone. And he is pulled down at the 13-yard line by Frank Wycheck. So Atlanta's last gasp, literally 2. 30-17, Redskin lead. Much of the crowd not any longer here, and Hebert takes a whack. Pegram gets a couple. And again, it's Sterling Palmer with the rush. All right now is miracle time for Atlanta. They have a second down and 8, down 30-17, and again Whitfield pulling back. And it turnovers, 37 on the season. And turnovers 3 to only 19 minutes and 6 seconds for Washington. Hebert hanging in there, has to go to the short man. That is Sanders, Deion Sanders.
June Jones, the offensive coordinator, and talked to him about this Washington defense. And he said, you know, I think we're going to be a little bit better prepared because what Washington has done to us, teams have been trying.
10 paid off today. Doubleheader action lies ahead, don't forget. The big game, the 49ers at Detroit. That's next on CBS Sports. Hebert on first down, and nowhere to go. He is buried. Good coverage downfield. 7 sacks today with 1:20 to go. Well, the producer of our game here in Washington today, Richie Zients, our director, Artie Kempner. Executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile. Into the 5 start, an incredible turnaround, a rush for the playoffs that is blunted here at RFK by the stubborn Redskin team taking advantage of 6 turnovers. And they blitz again, and Hebert gets it off, incomplete, nearly picked off by Andre Collins.
According to the Redskin defense, just did a good job of taking him out of it.
Risen with that shoulder injured last week against San Francisco, unable to work during the week. Hebert sideline for Risen there, and it is knocked away from behind. Todd Bowles, I make it Darrell Green, pardon me, 28. Knocking the ball out of the Jason Butt comes in at right defensive end. This is the 4th and 14. Hebert for Haynes, and Haynes makes a fine catch for next week. Cowboys still battling with the Giants for the NFC East title. Both of them are in the playoffs. Rams now at 7-7, as are the Bears, and Green Bay is 8-6. Detroit at 8-5. Hebert close to going over the line of scrimmage for Deion Sanders, incomplete.
And that's good. 2 of the best corners in the league going against each other.
Darrell Green on the coverage.
Well, one thing, Deion Sanders is not going to beat him with speed. And then when the ball's in the air, just who is going to make the play? And on this one, Darrell Green makes the play. Look at that, jumping up, knock it out of the way. Darrell Green has had a Pro Bowl year. And he doesn't know if he's going to make the Pro Bowl because, you know, they obviously have not been doing very well this year. But he's showed up every week. He's played well week in and week out. And he probably deserves the Pro Bowl.
33 years of age, one of the many 30-plus players on this Redskin team, many of whom are not likely to be here next year. This is Deion Sanders, and he's tripped up at the 40-yard line by Kurt Gouveia. 35 seconds left in the hurry-up. And they...
I thought he played pretty well.
13 of 23, 129 yards for Rippon. Hebert going deep to the corner, intended for Risen, broken up again by Darrell Green. Green's had to do a lot of running here in this second half.
That's something he does well. Not afraid to do. And he loves a challenge. Of all the players in the National Football League, there's only about maybe 3 or 4 guys I let my kids cheer for. Darrell Green's one of them.
Well, and he's a special guy. In Brookland neighborhood 6 days a week. And that's the kind of a guy who's a fine citizen in addition to being a great player. Hebert going deep to the corner for Risen. And Danny Copeland is there to intercept it at the 1-yard line. 14 seconds left. The 8th turnover by the Falcons today. 4 interceptions suffered by Bobby Hebert. Of course, that one, he just had to throw it up and hope for the best. Monty Coleman, what a game he had as Matt Millen has recounted today this dedication and skill level and the pride that that great veteran has. And so does this guy here. He did all he could do, Bobby Hebert.
Tough day for Bobby. But he's had himself a great year.
First down at the 1 for the Redskins, just to let the clock down with 14 seconds left. Atlanta's playoff hopes dashed here in RFK Stadium, where they have never won in 10 tries. And so for Matt Millen, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from RFK Stadium. For the final score, the Washington Redskins 30, the Atlanta Falcons 17. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local station.